We have finished this 3-month retreat, and I won't say thank you to any individuals because everyone did their practice and their living job very well. Actually, this is human beings' job. We just make retreats to make our life very simple so that we can see our mind. It's harder to see your mind in everyday life because the situation's complicated and all filled with desires, where on Kyolche, you kind of don't have an opportunity to satisfy your desires so much. I mean, everything's got not so much sleep, and the food, well, food's pretty wonderful here, but there are retreats where there's not that much food, not that much variety, and if you want to eat, you eat what's there. Presumably, nobody's having any sex. I'm sure in this group, nobody even thinks about it. Then nobody's getting famous, and you're not getting paid like in most society. But it's not different than what people need to do in their everyday life. It's reflecting back on myself, seeing my own mind and body habits, and trying to let go and realize there's always this unity with each other. We call that our substance, realizing our substance, and then seeing clearly, hearing clearly, and functioning clearly. So even if you were to get married and have many children, or you already did, or you had some busy job in the city, what we really need to do to be humans is exactly what we were doing here. And you know yourself, how well am I able to reflect on myself and let go of the habits and opinions that I've developed over many lifetimes. And when we can, even for a moment, we become in harmony. So everyone, I think, did that very well this winter. And even feeling through the pandemic, where so many of us were staying here, the group has developed a sense of ability to do that pretty well. And I appreciate those who came from overseas to join the retreat and arranging the time and the money to go through the quarantine that's required. And that really shows a strong interest, an action interest in practicing. That's not an easy thing to do. And a bunch of you did it. Lay people and Sanim. So we're really touching on what's the most important actions of a human. Understand myself, my true self, and understand my karma, and be able to let go of it, realize our true nature, and then live in whatever circumstances, in whatever social position we have, in a way that benefits others. That's human. Sungsan Sanim, when we were first raising money to make Musangsa, gave a talk at Wagesa and said many things we all know, many problems in the world. But if human beings find our true nature, we can solve all those problems. And if we don't realize our true nature, everything we do is like cooking rice and sand together. And some part of it is okay, but always there's some part of it that isn't digestible or healthy. So this refining ourselves is very important. Dae Sanim, in talking about practicing, says, in the ground there's gold, and when you dig up the ground, there's gold in there, but you can't really use it because it's mixed in with all this other stuff. So you put it in this big furnace and heat it, And then the stuff that's not really going to be helpful or useful kind of gathers on the top. And then you scoop that off, and what's left is this wonderful, pure gold. It's the same amount of gold that was there before, but now it's really useful. And you can do everything with it. You can make rings, you can make teeth, you can do all kinds of things with it. It's the same thing, our natural nature. If we put it in the furnace of practicing, heat it up, recognize what's not useful and helpful, skim that off, then we can use everything in very beneficial ways, quite naturally, quite simply and naturally. So that's what we've been doing. And I think that's why people say thank you at the end of the retreat. The other reason might be that I'm just thankful the retreat's over. So we go around, everybody says, thank you, thank you, thank you. Maybe if we had a circle talk in the middle of the retreat, it wouldn't be so wonderful. And for some of the newer people practicing here, I said I'd talk about one further thing. We always talk about two things being very important. I mean, there's so many ways to talk about practicing, but one way is meditation and wisdom. Meditation is really developing your center so you can do what you're doing. And everyone here is aware that's not so easy. I mean, when we're sitting, all we have to do is sit, breathe in, breathe out, and you can see floor's yellow, somebody coughs, you can hear it. But many other things go on in our body and mind by our thinking. But you can develop this ability, which we all naturally have, to, when we're doing something, just do it. And that's the name of meditation. And it takes effort, because we've built up habits where we're not doing that. We've created lots of desire, anger, and ignorance. And it's not good or bad. It's just our situation. It was Buddha's situation too. And he realized it, and so he found, fortunately, the correct way to practice and got a very great result, which still benefits us. Then wisdom. What is wisdom? Wisdom is basically attaining three things. Really realizing deeply or not so deeply the substance of the universe, which is our true nature. And as we begin to really get that inside, not an understanding, but, a strong taste of it, our body and mind will function very simply. Just reflect. Just reflects. So this substance is never changing, but we know this world that we live in is always changing moment to moment. But as our awareness, our experience of our true nature becomes stronger, that time our body and mind can just reflect this moment of this changing world. And just like a mirror, not hold it. So that your face comes in front of the mirror, reflects your face. The floor comes in front of the mirror, it's yellow. My face comes in front of the mirror doesn't say, I don't like your face. I like their face. It just reflects it. We call that truth. So very simple, just reflect. You don't need to think about it. If you're thinking, you can't do it. But if you're not attached to your thinking, automatic, And then one more step, how do you use this automatic reflection, this correct reflection, to live correctly, function? So substance, truth, function. Kongan said the same. You don't need to be clever. You don't need to be witty. You just need to learn how to not attach to what appears in your mind and experience just simple reflection, and then slowly the wisdom will appear how to function. So it's just a reflection. Even Kongan's is just a reflection of everyday life. So don't make them not important. Don't make them too important. Just as you deal with every moment of life, deal with that. And the value of it is two things, these Kongans. One, it helps us realize, don't know. And from our habits of survival and of school, we don't really like not knowing. Look at the cats, I was watching, you can watch the cats anytime and you can see them. There's a sound and they look over because they don't know what it is. And it's life and death for them. One day, Haytal's sleeping. He likes to sleep on top of that little house we made for them. And he's enjoying the sun. And then there were two birds in the archway there that Juan Bobsini built a couple of years ago, even though there's no leaves right now. And he hears them and he turns and looks. And then he realizes, okay, I didn't know. Now I know. It's birds. I'm sleeping. I don't care. And he just goes right back. But they catch each thing that's happening very clearly because they don't have a lot of thinking. Yeah, they're narrow in their desires and aims, but they don't have much thinking. And in their world, they're very tuned in to this moment. So that's our life. And if we can develop the ability, especially on these retreats, that give us a great opportunity to do that, then we continue it in everyday life. So tomorrow morning's Heije, okay? Kyolche, tight Dharma. Heije, loose Dharma. Sungsan Sinim used to say, if you attained your true self, then tomorrow's Heije. But if not, then tomorrow's not Heije. Kyolche continues. Only the outside schedule and circumstances are different. So we continue the same effort, but when it's time to relax, we relax. When it's time to have fun, we have fun. When it's time to drop everything and work, we can drop everything and work. So don't lose that mind through the changing circumstances. And then our whole life becomes practice, and we can be comfortable with, we're never unemployed. Okay, might not be getting paid for what we do, but this effort to become clear and then make harmony is always there. So we're never unemployed. Isn't that great? Everybody worries about getting unemployed. The Sanims hopefully don't worry about getting paid for it. That's all. So don't worry about it, and the necessary things appear. So thank you, everyone, for very valuable retreat, and let's continue. Let's enjoy Heije and continue the effort in a way that really will benefit ourselves and everybody. So thank you.